I'm supposed to be live already, am I? Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh no. Is it happening? I'm gonna see in a minute. I think I'm actually live. Oh yay. We managed to do it. We managed to achieve it. Hello everybody. Hi. Sorry, Yulia Tymoshenko jump scare everybody. Already have a couple people here in the chat. How is it going? Is everyone alive? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Let me know. Hopefully I have launched everything successfully, but you never know. You never know. Microphone might not be working. Oh, hi Karen. Hi, good to see you. Okay, I think it's working, right? And hello Carolyn. We're just gonna hang out here for a bit before the TikTok crowd finds us. How are you, everybody? I hate the fact that I have to look at these politicians and know them forever. Ever since I could remember myself. I remember these faces being insufferable and awful and lying. Oof, okay. Okay, this is just, it's fine. It's an obstacle that we have to get through, in order to be stronger and become better human beings. I don't know, something has happened in the last week with all of the political movements just activating immediately in our country. Oh boy. Okay. Do we launch TikTok or do we wait a couple more minutes? I think we can just do it. I think we can just do it. Okay. Ready, set, go. And now we're also live on TikTok, everybody. Okay, we'll just wait for everyone else to join us. And then we will do the regular broadcasting. All right. It's gonna take some time for TikTok to catch up. Also, let me close down Yulia Volodymyrna Tymoshenko and open the map of air raid alert. As if it's any better. Oh well. I guess, to a certain extent, it is. Between the two evils. Hello, everybody. How are ya? Let me know how's it going. Hello, TikTok. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, we're also live on YouTube already. Already having a little chat, a little secret conversation. Hi, Megan. How are ya? I'm already complaining to the people about our politicians, as I do. Same old. And a little bit stability. I'm all good. How are you, Roos? How's it going? Thank you. Hello. Hi, Helena. I'm glad to hear it. First cherry tomatoes. This makes me genuinely so happy. Congratulations on your first cherry tomatoes. Mine are not growing. I did pick my first cucumber a couple days ago. Thank you. So that was an achievement, which it sounds like an achievement, but it actually wasn't, because in this region, we're supposed to be drowning in cucumbers and, and stuff like this. But no, not this year. This year was crazy. So we just got the first one. End of July, we're just getting our first cucumbers. What is this year? I don't even know anymore. I hear it's been pretty chilly with some thunderstorms occasionally every now and then, which freaks out the dogs. But yeah, apparently this is like a typical weather here. I'm still not really used to it. This doesn't count as summer in my book. Whatever it is that they're having here in Volyn, the humidity, the rains, no, that's not summer. Summer's supposed to be scorching hot. It's supposed to be insufferably hot and salty. You're supposed to be swimming. None of that nonsense. Oh no. I think many people are having a terrible summer all over the place. Thank you. I like this t-shirt too. It's one of my favorites, actually. I got it. Where did I think it was in Zara. Yeah, it was Zara back in 2021 when I was spending half of my summer in Rome, which, by the way, very bad idea. If any single one of you considers spending any part of your summer in Rome, Italy, do not do that. This is a very, very bad idea. You will get scorched to almost to death. And there is no escape from the heat. It's insane. I didn't know, for some reason, it just never hit me, that in Rome, unlike some other cities, because it's such an ancient city, it has these layers on layers on layers of stone, right? Because if you've been to Rome, you know. And oh my god, it's like an oven. Yeah. Anyway, but I did get this short back then. So, hey, a win is a win. Am I right? I know, I think this is what all the dogs have in common, right? They hate the thunderstorms and they hate the fireworks too. With that, thankfully, we do not have a problem anymore here because we don't do fireworks anymore. We have missile strikes instead of fireworks. But yeah, they also, most of my dogs absolutely hate this type of stuff. Yeah, I know, hoping for the late summer. And thank you, Richard. You're hearing me twice. Are you also on YouTube? Maybe that's why, because if you're on YouTube, then yeah, you should just mute one. You should mute either TikTok or YouTube if you if you don't want that. Did you go to Italy because of Damiano David? Surprisingly, no. Although that was a year when Maneskin won the Eurovision. Right? Hi, Carol. Good to see you. Long time no see. Yeah, it was that year, right? But no, I was just really excited, and I always wanted to go to Italy. It was my first time ever traveling to Italy, yeah. I wasn't trying to entice the lead singer of Måneskin or anything. Hi, Emma. Good to see you. Good to see you, everybody. All right. We're also live on YouTube, everybody, if you would like to see the articles and stuff. Although today I think is going to be a more relaxing one, but if you would like to see the stuff, you know where to find me. YouTube is in my link tree. It's linked in the bio. You can just hop on there and see the stuff, the maps and the drones, which, yeah, there's been an increasing amount of drones globally. Poor Lithuania once again had a drone flying into its airspace. So yeah, we're going to discuss that in a second. Okay, it was your phone. Okay, good. I was worried it might be this thing that YouTube and TikTok do from time to time. I missed you too. How are you? Is everything okay? Please tell me everything is fine with you. Alrighty, everybody. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, we have a relatively quiet, relatively okay-ish map of our air raid alerts, which is good. It might change, as you know, but overall, the last couple of days have been... Oh, by the way, this is from Kiev today. There was this gathering of people because this is an anniversary of the massacre of our prisoners of war in Olenivka, and the people just gathered to remember the victims and the people who haven't been exchanged yet from the captivity. So yeah, there is a special, I believe there's an association of the families of the people who were killed, and just over anyone who feels, in any way connected to the cause. And yeah, they usually so some of their goals are they're trying to get more attention to the Ukrainian soldiers who are still in the Russian captivity, in the inhumane conditions that they're facing in that captivity. And they're also, well, this is basically the awareness, right? The awareness thing most of the time. Recently, there was a major victory, in a sense, I guess, if you can call it that, for the activists and the family members of the prisoners of war. There was a UN report released that finally confirmed that, yes, it was high-end, thank you. It was, in fact, Russia behind that attack. So those of you who do not remember, this was a strike carried out on a facility with the prisoners, Ukrainian prisoners of war, in which many people were burned to death. And Russians immediately said that it was Ukraine, because of course, what else? What else are they going to say? And it was done, as the UN report has also showcased and proven, it was done as a part of the disinformation campaign to try and stop the flow of Western weapons in Ukraine, because the Russians claimed the strike was conducted with HIMARS, right, which is the US provided systems. So yeah, this was one of the things that the UN report has disproven. They have basically, it was a very good report. Those of you who follow me on X, you might have seen I talked about this briefly. It just looks at everything from all angles, quite literally, because Russians turned it into such a huge propaganda campaign. They involved Steven Seagal, and it was a whole thing, it was a whole hoopla. And all of this material, ironically, was used to prove that it was them, it was an inside job, it was them who blew up this facility and killed all of these men. So yeah, this was today, but I actually wanted to talk about something else. I wanted to talk about our drone and missile strikes, because of course I did. Let's go. So yeah, today was loud. 331, everybody. 331 drones and missiles in various regions of Ukraine. Kyiv was under attack. But Kyiv has been under attack, I think, for a couple days. The main target was in Khmelnytska Oblast, so it was Starokostyantynivka. This is where one of our main airports are. So let me show you if I can I find it on the map? I probably won't be able. I have Deep State open. Starokostyantynivka. Thank you. Let me see. Okay, Carol says all is good. Okay, great. I'm very, very glad to hear this. I was worried for a brief moment, because you never know these days. Starokostyantynivka, let's go. That's it. And it's one of the places in the Western Ukraine that you might see in the news of the strikes pretty often, because yes, it is one of the places with airports, and this is where Russians believe all of our F-16s are and all of our planes are. I really hope they're wrong, and but this is one of the reasons why the strikes on this particular place are ongoing. And a fun piece of trivia: the reason I learned about Starokostyantynivka, because I used to not know what that place even was, back when my parents, when they were just considering moving from the occupied Crimea, and they were investigating in all these different places, doing the research where to move. Starokostyantynivka was one of the places that they were considering. It had like an incredible house, very beautiful location, beautiful nature. But the moment my dad saw that there was a military airport in the vicinity, he was like, nope. We're not moving there, because he knew that in the case of full-scale Russian invasion, this is going to be the primary target, of course. So yeah, there were strikes on Starokostyantynivka. Hello, everybody. If you're interested in seeing the map, I'm showing all the stuff on YouTube, right? The YouTube link is in bio, as always. Sorry, I'm being annoying with that, but I know some people are confused and cannot find the stuff, and yeah, it's up on YouTube. So yeah, this is Starokostyantynivka. This was the main target, right? But also yesterday there were strikes on Dnipro, so the city itself and the region too, and on Kyiv as well. So yeah, various strikes and various facilities burning in the last couple of days, which is devastating, but also at the same time, unfortunately, just a part of our day-to-day existence these days. Hello, good to see you, everybody. Good to see you, Josh. Hi. Hello. No echo. Okay, that's good. Apparently, okay, bad echo for some people, no echo for other people's. I guess we'll never know what's actually happening. I'm sorry, it might be your phone. Yeah, I know. 300. So this is according to the official data from our Air Force. 331 drones and missiles combined. So a total of 309 drones and two missiles. And it was Ha-101. Very loud night even here. We had the air raid alerts on and off. Yesterday it was just the drones. It was 83 drones. And before that it was 235, and that was actually the 26th was the loudest night in a while, because they've been using a lot of Kinzhal missiles, which are notoriously hard to intercept. And yeah, those were all targeted towards Dnipropetrovska Oblast. Unfortunately, poor Dnipropetrovska Oblast. I think I had some of the... Trump, no. Not yet, wait your turn. I had some of the images from somewhere. Or maybe I didn't. Oh yes, I did. This was a tea company that had their storage entirely destroyed by the strike. Teahouse.ua, which of course I took it very personal because I love tea. And yeah, this was their facility that was hit in the strike in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, among many other places that unfortunately also suffered. Thank you. So yeah, this is it's always heartwarming to see stuff like this being posted on social media whenever something tragic happens, because this is people trying to show the support to the owner of the business, and this is their website, teahouse.ua, and yeah, they're basically inviting people to purchase stuff from them, and it did get some traction on social media, so hopefully people will be ordering from them. But as the owner said, this is a message that this is the owner of that business sent to one of the people reaching out. He's basically saying, like, thank you for your concern. We will all stay healthy and we will continue drinking tea when I get some more tea delivered, basically hinting that all of his supplies were burned in the strike. The main enemy of the Russian Federation, everybody, the tea. The tea was successfully denazified, so I know, what a big day, they stay winning, they stay, denazifying, they just stay, how do they usually call this? Conducting the high precision strikes on, there you go, on the tea house, alright. Anyway, sorry, let me see. I know. The fishing net. Oh, hi, Tizai. Good to see you. The fishing nets stop the drones. Yeah, they sometimes use them. So what they do usually, they use this type of net. They're not really fishing nets, but they're kind of similar. We and the Russians also use them. You can use them against the FPV drones. Right, you can use them against the FPV drones, and you can even see the images from the frontline cities where the entire roads and the entire neighborhoods are covered by these nets. But this is only useful against the small, regular Mavic type of FPV drone, the smaller one. This is, I think, what most people imagine when they hear the word drone. At this point in the war, there are so many different types of drones. It's not going to be efficient against all of them, and it's not going to be efficient against Shahed in particular, because Shahed is gigantic and it carries a lot of explosives, so no, you cannot just stop a Shahed with that. But yes, it is very actively used against the smaller types. So yeah, and very often it's actually used as a probably the key way to defend the logistics, right? The roads. No, I don't have that. I used to have the footage somewhere. Maybe next time we will look at it. But I don't have it today. Anyway, does it seem surreal? I haven't seen it. I wasn't at the front lines ever. And I don't think I ever will be, hopefully. But the images are absolutely surreal. I think the most surreal stuff that I have seen in, throughout the war is seeing the places that you used to know being destroyed. This is something that your brain cannot really fathom. And I know it's so much worse for the people who actually come from those areas, because there's a lot of survivors, a lot of the displaced people coming from those regions who literally have to sit through and live through the full destruction of their hometowns. But even for me, when I remember when there was fighting for Severodonetsk, right? This is the hi, thank you. This is, let me show you where Severodonetsk. Come on, where are you? Severodonetsk. It's another one. Donetsk. It doesn't want to show me. Okay, we'll have to find it ourselves. It's in Luhansk Oblast. Where are you? I don't think I will be able to find it. There are too many places everywhere. But anyway, it was occupied in 2022. I cannot find it because the last time I was there was a very long time ago, and it was so surreal seeing all of these places that I remember because we used to go there. There was a poetry festival when I was in the 8th grade in Severodonetsk, and we went there and we were reading our poetry, and I also remember us sneaking out at night because we were all based in this like a sanatoriy, so I don't know how to call it, like a resort of sorts, right? A post-Soviet resort, if you will, in the forest. And we were all sneaking out in the middle of the night to get the energy drinks because this was like the coolest thing, you know. Anyway, we were nerds. And seeing, you know, these resorts and remembering these resorts and then seeing the images of these forests and these places being completely leveled and just shattered and destroyed, it's absolutely surreal. It's, yeah, I don't think this is something that most people will understand, and thank God they won't. So yeah, but it was a fun festival. We had a lot of fun. It was we had the energy drinks, and we'll learn the song about Severodonetsk. It was Severodonetsk, Severodonetsk, and I don't remember the rest of it. But yeah, it's been occupied. Whatever is left of it, I think it's one of those places that is pretty much uninhabitable by this point in time. But whatever is left of it is not. It's not in a good state, unfortunately. Oh well. Okay, I wanted to talk about the North Koreans, everybody, because they're back. Unfortunately, they're back, everybody, and there's more of them, and the numbers are growing. So this is from Reuters, but they're quoting the South Korean intelligence. I don't hear much about kids taken from Ukraine, but I don't think you hear much about anything Ukraine related these days, right? It's not really hitting the mainstream news anymore because everyone is tired of it. No one really wants to hear about this stuff. Thank you. Yes, I know. I love this shirt too. It's one of my favorite summer shirts that I own. So it's just the type of stuff that people, it's kind of like, you know, okay, whatever, it happens. So, hi Jess. I'm still here. I'm still streaming. I know. Surprising. But we're still kicking. Did the North Koreans leave? So yeah, there was a brief pause. In whatever it is that they were doing. Remember there was this whole extravaganza back in North Korea with Kim crying, and there was this performance, and then they were greeting the bodies of the fallen North Koreans. So yeah, apparently they withdrew, they reinforced, and now they're back. And so this article says North Korea may send more troops to Russia in July or August for Ukraine war, according to Seoul. If there's anyone we can trust on the matter of North Korea, it's South Korea. So North Korea may deploy additional troops. Okay, so this article suggests that perhaps they were not all withdrawn, but I don't know. I've heard some conflicting things. Additional troops to Russia to fight in the war against Ukraine in July or August, and Pyongyang is continuing to supply arms to Russia. Duh, no secret here, South Korean lawmakers said on Thursday, citing a briefing by the intelligence. The National Intelligence Service believes Russia may be raiding to mount a large-scale assault against Ukraine, which is, again, this is something that I think we all know by this point, July or August. South Korean Member of Parliament Lee Song-kwon told reporters after the closed-door briefing. Quote, the timing of the additional deployment is that it could be as early as July or August, Lee said, adding the agency cited a new roundup of troops for the dispatch by North Korea. So, yeah, there was also, remember how we discussed that recent meeting between, who was that, Lavrov and Kim, and we were reading this very funny official North Korean media. They were like, glorious Kim has just met with the brilliant Lavrov and sent his greetings to magnificent Putin. Yeah, so they met, and obviously it was logical to expect that something like this would follow, because it was such, hi Zoe, good to see you, no worries. You know, I'm always happy to see you, no matter what. Anyway, I'm on North Korea and Kim and the rest of them. Yeah, maybe they haven't actually. It wouldn't be honestly as surprising. Maybe they were just reinforced somewhere, but obviously a lot of the information about them is really hush hush. No one is really giving, any actual details. And hey, let us give an official Russian briefing on what's happening with North Koreans inside of Russia. But anyway, so yeah, there was this meeting between Lavrov and Kim, and also Lavrov and the Chinese foreign minister, and we all know that North Korea is not a fully independent player, right? It's they're heavily reliant on China. So after those two meetings, yeah, we were expecting something like this happening, and now it is happening. So there's going to be more additional North Korean troops sent to Ukraine. But how does it operate? What is the principle here? It's that they're sending these North Koreans, apparently this is what it's going to look like, to basically replace the Russians in certain regions of Russia. So they will be positioned in Kursk or Belgorod or, I don't know, any, I guess, regions that border Ukraine. And this will allow the Russians to free up their troops and use them in the upcoming offensives against Ukraine. So that's the plan. It doesn't look like they will be using the North Korean soldiers in the offensives. It's more like the additional supplemental troops, I guess. The kidnapped kids, says Vicky, was discussed on Danish morning TV last week. Oh, well, that's giving me hope. That it was difficult to get them back because they had gotten new identities. And right, a lot of them were adopted. Hi, Tim, good to see you. A lot of them were adopted. A lot of them were sent to different orphanages. There are all kinds of conflicting information. And these days, it's the most complicated thing is to get the info on their actual location and whereabouts. So yeah. What else about North Korea? In return for North Korea sending artillery, ammunition, and missiles to Russia, Pyongyang is likely receiving technical advice on satellite launches, of course, and missile guidance systems, Lee said, citing the same briefing. Thank you. Hello. Long time no see. Hi. It's been forever. Are these the kids that were taken right in the beginning of the war? Yeah, so the taken kids, it mostly refers to the kids that were taken from the occupied territories of Ukraine. Thank you. They were taken from orphanages, many of them. Some of them were taken from the family. Some of them were... there were some of the more confusing situations. There were some in the camps, I think. So, yeah, some mix-ups here and there. But a lot of those kids were orphans. And then there were also instances of, basically the families, the Ukrainian families not finding them anymore. Like a kid staying with grandma in Kherson and then the Russians take the kid because, of course, because the kid is like technically unaccounted for, I guess, because mom and dad don't know where to be found. So many mix-ups like this and so many complications. And one of the reasons for why it was so hard is because ever since they were taken, they were given in many instances new identities, their names were changed, and of course Russians are not clarifying where they're taking those kids because why would they do this? So, but it is a very important matter because this was the grounds on which Putin received his conviction, right? The only conviction that he has for now, it's based on that. It's based on the fact of these thousands of cases of kidnapped Ukrainian children. So, which is kind of ironic, right? We have seen all of these crimes, all of these atrocities, and the only thing that was actually used against him, it's this. And this is why for Russians it's a very sensitive matter, and they invest a lot of time and a lot of money into like basically counter, information, the disinformation that is meant to show that no, we didn't kidnap anyone. We evacuated the kids. Evacuated from what? Is the question. Why did the kids need to be evacuated? Oh well. So thank you so much, Carrie. Alright, so North Korea stuff, I know, disappointed but not surprised, right, with North Korea. I'm afraid it's the Trump. I'm sorry, everyone. Yeah, Trump has been on a roll in the last couple days, and the EU has succumbed to Trump's tariff steamroll. We're going to talk about this in a couple seconds. Do. Thank you. I also love my lamp. It's from Crimea. I know it's in this Turkish style, but that's also because our native people of Crimea, the Crimean Tatars, they're Turkic people, and their culture is heavily intertwined. So, yeah, if you would like to see the stuff that I'm discussing, I'm showing some things on my YouTube, so you can join us on there. The link is in the bio. Thank you. Adopted... sold, conscripted. Yeah, actually, this is an interesting note, Nightshade, right? Some of them were already conscripted. The ones who were like 16, 17, right at the time of the occupation. Some of them are already in the army. So, and this is inevitable, right? This is what happens when your territory gets occupied. Of course, your resources are going to be used, right? Whatever it is that your infrastructure. We've already talked about the grain that was stolen, but also your people are going to be used as resource as well. It's one of the reasons for why it's so important for Europe to not let the entirety of Ukraine to fall under the Russian occupation, because this is what's going to happen to all of Ukraine, right? Now we're only seeing this happen to Crimeans, and we saw this happening to people in Donbass, and now we're seeing this happen to Zaporizhia and Kherson. So all of these people, these kids that get brainwashed and then conscripted and then sent into the war. So the fear here is that, you know, this could potentially happen with the entirety of Ukraine, and this is not going to be fun for anyone. All right. What else? Trump. I think Trump is in there. EU just signed a bizarre trade deal with with the United States. Yeah, the word succumbed is actually pretty fitting. Trump and Ursula von der Leyen just announced trade deal, flat 15% tariff on EU goods, hundreds of billions in weapons and energy purchases, and the opening up of all of the European countries, whatever that means, opening up of all the European countries.
Be a straight across tariff of 15%. So we have a tariff of 15%. We have the opening up of all of the European countries, which I think I could say were essentially...
Sorry, lost him.
I mean, you weren't exactly taking our autos, you weren't exactly taking our agriculture, and then you would have smaller things, but for the most part it was closed.
The way she looks
open. It's open for our companies to go in and do a good job with it. I think you'll like them. I think you'll like it. And we will, very importantly, they'll be investing a lot of money, but the military is a big number, but that's one number we're not determining. It's going to be whatever it is, but they're going to be purchasing hundreds of billions of dollars worth of military equipment.
Trillions.
They're very importantly, they're going to purchase $750 billion worth of energy. So that's going to be great. And $600 billion worth of investments into the United States over and above what they have. So, and I think that basically concludes the deal. I mean, those are the main factors. I don't think there are too many other factors, other than we're going to get along great. And
oh, I'm sorry, I can't. Oh my god. No, that's enough. There was also a part in which he attacked the European windmills, which is very fitting. And but yeah, they have agreed. They have agreed on that, which is, again, this is on our overall disappointed but not surprised sentiment, I guess. The trade deal is insane, right? Oh, Vicky, your comment just disappeared. I was about to read it. Something happened. Was it YouTube? Is YouTube also censoring the comments? I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Senior citizen Dr. Evil. Thank you, everyone. I know, right? So, yeah, I think honestly the main reasoning behind this should be the military stuff. It should be the fact that the US has this insane leverage in terms of, you know, military supplies and everything, and the European security architecture still pretty much relying on the US because that's the way it has been for the last several decades. Thank you. Vicky, I'm so sorry that your comment disappeared. If you could repeat just the key points I'm mad at YouTube now. Yeah, this is the video where he is saying, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. Oh no, we have to watch this, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, everybody.
And the other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains, and I'm not talking about airplanes, I'm talking about beautiful plains, beautiful areas in the United States, and you look up and you see windmills all over the place. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good. They're made in China, almost all of them. When they start to rust and rot in 8 years, you can't really turn them off, you can't burn them. They won't let you bury the propellers, you know, the props, because
Okay.
there's a certain type of fiber that doesn't go.
Oh, thank you so much, dear. The way Ursula is looking at him, those of you who are on YouTube, just look at her facial expression. Look at the way she is looking at this man. Yeah, this is one of those moments when you just realize you hate your job, right? This is... But yeah, he did, right? It's planes, not planes, it's planes. Oh yay, vanilla chai. Well, that sounds wonderful. I'm still on the same green tea with Jasmine, and good to see you. Yeah, so that was something. That was something that a lot of people have been talking about, because just a deliberate attack on the windmills, as always. And Ursula, yeah, being like, oh my god. So yeah. They did sign the deal. I mean, I think a lot of you already know the deets of the entire situation. Let me see. Do we have a direct link to her post? But a lot of people are very, very mad. A lot of people are extremely mad at this, because they believe that this is not an entirely fair situation, to put it mildly. Yeah, right? Just like her faces. Well, here she's smiling, but if you look deeper into her eyes, you can see this endless contempt and horror at what is happening. Oh well. Oops. I've missed a lot of the windmills in the room. I know, very, very Don Quixote like of him. Someone help us escape. Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. I don't think we can. I'm afraid. No, Vic, you're right. This is actually, I have the most incredible version of him speaking that I think a lot of you will appreciate. I'm gonna show this to you in a second. And what was with the windmills in the ocean? Oh, it's just... Right, exactly. Windmills are eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Thank you, Karen. The enemy number one. And also, I think it was around that time where he also pointed out that that he never had the privilege of visiting the Epstein Island. So, the privilege of visiting the Epstein Island, right? So, someone was on a roll. Someone was on fire, like those windmills he's talking about. Oh, God. Okay. I worked on the Harris campaign, and it baffles me every day that people voted for this. Yeah, I guess some people see themselves in him. But yeah, we were all quite baffled on our silly little continent over here too. But then again, if you really go back and you remember the first time it happened, and you look at into the depth of it, perhaps it's not as surprising, but still, it was like, really? Alright, we're doing this again? Okay, let me show you the little clip, everybody. To those of you who are on YouTube, I hope you're excited. This is the way Trump's speeches are supposed to be listened to. So, this was him. To those of you who have missed it. Okay, and you can barely hear him because there are bagpipes playing in the background. And Keir Starmer is also there, looks maxing, just mogging. And the fly is also there. Wonderful, incredible stuff. So yeah, that's I think that's the way we're gonna keep it for now in this chat. It's the bagpipes playing in the background, so I like how the chat immediately wakes up the moment we start talking about this man. He's everyone's kryptonite. Hello, good to see you, Furman. The windmills, I know, everybody. Rodeo Cowboy says, Trump is the best. I love the way he jacks up the left. I don't think it's really... that's Bula, by the way. That's Bouillon, everybody, so... She's probably seeing the chickens. Which happens from time to time, because we have 71 new chicks and they keep wandering into what she believes is her territory, and this annoys her greatly. Okay, let me close the window, because otherwise she's gonna drive us crazy. Sorry, everyone. Just a sec. Just what she does whenever she sees the chicks. Oopla. Alright. I don't think it's really... you see, owning the libs thing can only take you this far, right? But apparently some of you are still content with it. Alright, well, if that's enough for you, then I guess, yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I wish my dogs were as nice as this little corgi. No, they're just having a continuous meltdown about trigger warning Trump. She's trying her best, but sometimes she can be a little bit too much. And if you only saw those are like teeny tiny baby chicks. And all the drama that they cause, oh my god. Alright, that's enough, I guess, of this guy. Let's talk about the unidentified drone that entered Lithuania, everybody. A NATO country, mind you, right? Every time Trump opens his mouth, he shows the world. Unfortunately, recently especially, it has sort of... it has become much and much more obvious. I think with his health deteriorating, it used to be not as obvious. Everybody was like, oh, it's just his goofs, it's just his little gaffes, he's just being a funny, silly guy. Like that person in the chat, Rodeo Cowboy or something. Said, right, he riles up the left. No, recently it wasn't really riling up. I'm still laughing, I think it's inertia, but also I cannot shake off the feeling like I'm making fun of a senior citizen, and it's just not, that's not it. But also you have to laugh, because otherwise you're just gonna cry, right? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. A long time no see, Jamie. I think it's been forever, right? It's been months at the very least. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. Why does it sound like she barks in reverse? Yeah, she does that. She's... Now that I think of it, this is all on point, right? Yeah, I don't know why. I think she was reprogrammed as a pup, I guess. He riles us up with deep secondhand embarrassment and shame, right? I think that was the reaction of many people, right? At first people were heartbroken, right? Now I think it's a lot of shame and anger. But the most important thing is that you don't fall into despair, right? Do not let this stuff immobilize you. Do not let them train you into hopelessness. That's the worst thing you can be. And I think a lot of this stuff is aimed exactly at that, for you to just look at this and think, okay, this is it. This is so over. This is, this is, thank you. Oh, wow. That's very beautiful. Thank you, Jamie. But do not let them get away with it, and do not give them what they want, because that's the part of the plan. That's how they get to you. Once you are immobilized, once they have caused this inaction, this is it. This is how they win. Until then, they haven't really won. No, I'm not in Lviv. I'm in a teeny tiny village in Volyn, and the only things that were protesting here were the beavers. But I was very supportive of the protests, as I always am, everywhere and anywhere, all of the time. Everybody liked the bagpipes. All right, everyone, let's get into the drone. No, but honestly, right? I've seen this happen. I've seen this happen in real time with so many of my Russian family members and peers, and this is exactly what happened to them. This is how it was done. Gradually, they were just forced into this submission because it was made clear to them that, no change is possible, and that whatever they do, it's not going to bring any change upon. And this is how people gradually gave up. So, no, we don't do that. We never give up. We continue. We continue moving, just gradually, in our own silly little way. All right, the drone entered Lithuania again for the second time in a month from Belarus, of course. It would be surprising if it entered from Latvia, huh? Of course it entered from Belarus. To those of you who have forgotten what Lithuania is, I know some of you sometimes forget, but I think most of you know. Let's go to the map. This is the region, right? This is on the map of Europe. Lithuania is right here, together with Latvia and Estonia. They're usually referred to as the Baltic countries, and they used to be occupied by Russia in the past, and they repeatedly have been claimed to be their possible next goal by the Russians, and the Kremlin hates them deeply. There is a lot of hatred there, and this is not the first time when a random drone has flown into the Lithuanian territory from Belarus. Why is it happening? Good question. This is Belarus, by the way. As you can see, there's a lot of border shared between Belarus and Lithuania. Thankfully, no border with Russia. Not as lucky for Latvia and Estonia, but Lithuania only has border with Belarus. And we've already discussed this a couple of weeks ago. There was a random drone that flew into Lithuanian airspace, causing a little bit of a panic. Some of the Lithuanian officials were evacuated even, right? So there was a lot of concern regarding this, because of course the drone turned out to be a decoy drone back then, which I think calmed a lot of people down and even caused some mockery, which I don't really think it's funny. And I don't think a lot of Lithuanians think it's funny either, but all right. To those of you who do not know, Lithuania is a NATO country. It is a NATO state, together with the rest of the Baltics. So an unidentified drone enters Lithuania from Belarus amid rising tensions, says this article from Kyiv Independent. It basically states that on the morning of July 28th, most likely from the direction of Belarus, the drone entered the Lithuanian airspace. According to reports, the drone was spotted at an altitude of about 100 meters, last seen near Vilnius, that's the capital of Lithuania, said Darius Bute, representative of Lithuania's National Crisis Management Center. It's unclear what type of drone it is. We will update the information. The news follows multiple instances of Russian Shahed-type attack drones veering off course toward NATO territory during aerial attacks on Ukraine. Now, this is a very common read of the situation. A lot of people very commonly like to think that whenever these drones end up in the NATO country's airspace, and we have had instances of them ending up in Lithuanian airspace and Romanian airspace. There were some instances, I believe, with someone else, with Latvia too. Usually they're just immediately dismissed as oopsie daisy, that was an oopsie. That was an oopsie doopsie. No one was really meaning for those drones to end up in those cool and hip NATO countries. They were just meant for the Ukrainian schools. So everyone's like, okay, thank God for that. So let's just relax and go have a boba tea. And what happened? So I don't like this type of reading of the situation, because I think this kind of allows people to close their eyes on a very uncomfortable truth, that this is just a very clear pushing of the red lines at the hand of the aggressor, and it continues happening. And it would be incredible if there was some kind of a response that, like, perhaps maybe something would be done about those drones. I don't know, crazy stuff, right? Lithuanian authorities said that all relevant services are working to locate the drone's possible crash site and warned residents not to approach the unmanned aircraft under any circumstances. Good. You shouldn't. If you ever encounter a drone, you shouldn't approach it. And if it looks like some type of unfamiliar drone, if it's an unfriendly drone. Today, the weather is favorable for weather balloons, which smugglers use to fly their goods. This is an interesting nuance. We cannot yet specify what type of object or objects it is, Lithuanian defense minister stressed in comments. So yeah, this is another possibility, right? Because there have been instances of the smuggling activity on the border between Belarus and Lithuania repeatedly in the past, and it went to very extreme points. Recently, a couple months ago, there were tunnels discovered leading from Belarus to Lithuania that were apparently used for drug smuggling, I think, or cigarette smuggling, stuff like this, which is concerning, right? But it's extra concerning when you remember the geopolitical reality that the region exists in, and that these countries are considered to be a very likely next target for the aggressor, and the fact that there are just casual tunnels. Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cute. It was very good that it was discovered, but it immediately raised a whole new level of concerns. But yeah, this is another explanation for this drone, that it could be like, related to some sort of smuggling activity. Thank you. Also, an important thing, but which we have also discussed previously, briefly, is that there is an upcoming military exercises in Belarus, right? So there's going to be military exercise in Belarus pretty soon. It's supposed to be mid-September. And yeah, this is going to be the drilling involving 13,000 troops. And they're among the largest joint exercises held by Russia and Belarus, which is also slightly concerning. I don't know, maybe I'm being dramatic, but I would say it is slightly concerning. Later in the day, Sakalina suggested, that's the defense minister, the drone may have strayed into Lithuanian airspace after being jammed by Ukrainian defenses. Okay, I guess that's that's another one, huh? Oh well, there are no indications that the incident was a result of a deliberate provocation. I guess, alright, okay, cool. We can use all of these explanations. Have you heard, right? I think you've noticed there were three possible excuses. There was the drone just randomly steering off its course, there was the smuggling, and then there were Ukrainians, because of course we're behind everything. But I think the reality remains the same. It's the second drone in a month. I don't know. Is it all on us, or is it all on smugglers? Oh Christ. Okay. But yeah, so this coincided with Russia launching 300 something attack drones, which we've already discussed overnight. So yeah. But this is no, I don't know, I'm not buying it. Okay, it's their version of the events. I read it as just yet another testing of the red lines and the response from the NATO countries, and just to see what it's going to look like, because it goes both ways. The red lines are being tested repeatedly by both sides in the situation. All right, this is on the drones. We're still look at this, how nice, almost peaceful, right? The map of the air raid alerts is not as red as it used to be. We had the air raid alert turning off in Chernihiv and Sumy, which is good. This is the ongoing fighting in Kharkiv region. For some reason, Sumy doesn't reflect on the map, although there is still fighting in Sumy as well. Recently, we've had some progress in this area. This is the Russian advancement on the Ukrainian territory, but a couple weeks ago, this is what it looked like. One of the villages was taken back by our forces, so that's wonderful. Yeah, I know, right? I don't think anyone who's in close proximity to Russia is laughing when this stuff is happening. You're just trying to process this and also hopefully figure out what to do next and how to like, what are the next steps? I think this should be the main conversation behind the closed doors. How do you prevent stuff like this from happening? What is the response? What if tomorrow it's not one drone? What if tomorrow it's 100 drones? What's gonna happen? But also this brings us back to the conversation regarding the possible escalation, right, with the NATO, that it's not going to look like this, hundreds of thousands of troops, like the way they invaded us. That if there were to be something awful, some sort of Russian aggression targeted at the NATO countries, it's going to look like this. It's going to look, boy, look at this pesky little drone. Look at these weird unnamed soldiers. Hi, Jonathan, thank you. Look at these, whatever. I guess what's happening, I guess we'll never know. This is one of the main concerns regarding the situation. I think there's always Russian Kaliningrad of some sorts, right? Do we have Kaliningrad? Königsberg on the map. Let's see. Of course we do. There it is in red. Karelia is also in red. I didn't see. Wait. Oh yeah, this is Karelia. Oh my god. Right? And what are these? Are these the territories? Okay, occupied district of Estonia, right? Okay, as a result of Molotov-Ribbentrop. Wow. Okay, there's a lot. Yeah, I like this map. And this is Karelia, right? Yeah, the temporarily occupied territory of Karelia. I thought St. Petersburg was lower for some reason. But anyway, yeah, that's Kaliningrad, everybody, to those of you who do not remember. This adds a little bit of spice to the geographic situation in the region, because this is Lithuania, right? This is Poland, right here. This is Kaliningrad, and this is Belarus. And this teeny tiny thing is considered by some experts to be among the potential goals for the Russians, thank you, if they were ever to start something, some nonsense in this region, that they would go for this little gap, this bottleneck that's called Suwalki gap. Yeah, and there is constant conundrum. Something is always happening in Kaliningrad. They're using Kaliningrad to jam the GPS, for instance, in the region. There are constant problems in various airports in the region, not only in the Baltics, but also in Finland from time to time. I think it was reported before, so yeah. A very, very, very messy situation we have ongoing. I missed Jamie leaving. Thank you, Jamie. It was good seeing you. Hi, Roxy Sue. Good to see you too. Hello, everyone. We're discussing horrible things, but we're still smiling, because that's the way I do it. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose my mind. So I remember I was getting so many people offended back in the day. It's like, how can you say it like that? Why are you laughing? Why are you smiling? Don't you understand what's at stakes here? Gee, Brian, I don't know. I never thought about it. I never thought about what's at stakes here, huh? Just never hit me. Guess I'm just laughing because I'm just not very smart, huh? I'm just a girly girl doing girly things. What was this that I once posted? I was sad about the animals that were being slaughtered, and someone told me, if this is the saddest thing that you're noticing, you're clearly not paying attention. I was... just... Dizvici. Alright. Hi, hello Suzanne. I know, ideally, right, Carol? But no, we do not live in the ideal world, I'm afraid. Everyone is just watching. Everyone is observing the situation, I'm afraid. Good to see you too. Hello. Sorry, missed a bunch of messages as always. Sorry. Those of you who are interested in seeing Kaliningrad, I'm showing it on the map on YouTube. YouTube's link in bio, as always. So if you want to see it, in real, okay, not in real time, it's the map, but oh my god, in Lithuania we got the messages about the drone much later, which wasn't, oh wow, really? Well, that's awful. So the notification system doesn't really work. But then again, right, you see, if they are not entirely sure how to identify it and what to call it, was it a smuggling drone, was it a random drone, was it a stray drone, was it then how are they even going to explain it to people? How are they even going to put it? Because here, when we get the alert, right? It means the stuff is flying your way, hide if you want. But in this case, I guess because of this, vague state of things, maybe this is why they don't even know how. And this is another problem. Because they should know. They should notify people in advance. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Belarus and Russian exercises. What could go wrong? I know. Just it's fun for the whole family. But honestly, at this rate, it's most likely that it's a potential danger for us, because we're also here. Right, that's us right here, and you see this is just, even on the map you can see the groups of Belarusian, the concentration of Belarusian forces, right? The 5th Separate Special Forces Brigade in Brest, and then there is whatever that is. Oops, TikTok wants to log me off once again. Don't do it to me. Don't do it. Illegal armed formations of what? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, it could also be towards us. You never know. It could be nothing, as always. But I think that Kalak's visit to Lukashenko, when was it, a month ago? I think this had to do with the upcoming exercises. And now you're seeing me, and I'm glad to see you too. Oh my god, I was just on a Baltic cruise and the Russians were doing something that made us have to go around. Oh no, what were they doing? Were they jamming? Or... wow. Again, not surprised. If you look at all of the activity, all of the disruptive activity that's been going in the Baltic Sea and in the region in general, it's a pretty long list. So you have the jamming of the GPS, you have all of these ships, so the Shadow Fleet entering and exiting. Sometimes they're stopped, sometimes they're not stopped. Then there are the drones. Then there are the instances of the cables, the internet cables, right, being torn down at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. Then there was the couple of Russian fighters entering the Estonian airspace. Obviously, no one was asking them to do that, so that was... yeah, it keeps happening. It's just because it's considered to be these like relatively small instances, and they're just happening sort of, here and there, no one really paying attention to them, but the list is growing. And that's extremely concerning. Not to sound like the European Union, but I am concerned, so... oh. Maybe we need to tell Trump that Putin wants to install windmills in Ukraine and he will care. Well, he pretends to care. Today he announced that Putin no longer has the 50-day deadline. Remember how Trump last time he said that he gives Putin 50 days. Today he said that maybe he's going to give him 10 to 12 days. Oh boy. Oof. Are we supposed to tremble? Shiver me timbers. What's gonna happen then? I wish I still believed that something could be done and that some measures would be taken. I don't, honestly, not at this point. Hi, good to see you. Good to see you, Brittany. I'm sorry, this was meant at someone from years ago. Nice to see you. Yeah, but you know how we do it, right? You know how we do it. This is how we do it from time to time, I guess. Alright, let's see, what else did we want? We already talked about the North Koreans. By the way, this is another update on the so-called death factory. This is the Russian drone facilities in Alabuga. Why did I say it in Ukrainian? Alabuga. This is the place in which the Russians are manufacturing most of their Shahed drones, and in which they're planning these massive projects. They're planning the expansion of the facilities. They're planning on hiring about 40,000 people, 40,000 workers. Let me see, is this the link? They have shown in the propaganda piece that they have released I think it was a week ago. They have shown the ins and outs of the facility. I think we looked at that probably. I already forgot. Sorry, guys. But anyway, and they have announced that they're planning on expanding this, right? And they're speeding up the building of the facilities. You can see here, right? All of these buildings. And this is on the topic of them potentially increasing the number of Shahed they're manufacturing. And remember how we were saying that they might be able to start sending even more drones our way, right? That it's going to be hundreds, and they're aiming for thousands of drones potentially. Yeah, that's where most of them, thank you, are going to be manufactured. So, yeah, there was also some satellite imagery, but just more and more info rolling out on this facility. And yeah, they're multiplying, everybody. Their Shaheds are multiplying, I'm afraid. So we're in for Some not so fun times, I'm afraid. Hi, Darwolf, good to see you. But yeah, you can see they're still building those, but still the fact that it's massive too, right? You know that the problem with our long-range strikes, whatever, into the enemy territory is that they're usually done with just an occasional drone, right? And to hit a facility like this, it's just simply not enough. So yeah, this presents a massive, massive issue. They're expanding that. And they're also, among the things in that they were talking about in that particular propaganda piece regarding this facility, they were also talking about recruiting high schoolers. So that, and middle schoolers, I think they were saying as young as 9th grade, that they could go and receive some wonderful experience helping assemble the Shahed drones. I know, what a fun activity, huh? Yeah, I know. I know. Hello, good to see you. Yeah, we really need one, huh? G. Brian, I don't know sticker. Yeah, we could do that. I could add something like this. Let me write it down. Because otherwise we'll see. Because unfortunately the TikTok stickers are very small. But maybe if I play with the fonts a little bit. Let's see. Let me see. G. Brian, I don't know. I don't know. The sticker. Okay. I will have to use my skills of Photoshop and Paint to you know, we've had to deal with a lot of Brians throughout the years. So it's just, yeah, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Some people genuinely mean well, but some... Oh, Heroem Slava, hello. Wait, 9th grade is about 14, 15, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They usually go to 1st grade at like 7, alright? So... good to see you too. Thank you. Yeah, I think 9th grade should be like 14, 15 years old. Can I even count? No, probably not. Thankfully not babies, right? So that's a good thing, I guess. But still, pretty repulsive. And also, you can see the cynicism here, because if they're using these school children and then something happens to the facility, then they immediately have a bunch of either injured or scared kids, or, you know, God knows what's going to happen to them, and then it's going to be, oh, Ukraine is murdering Russian babies, as always. It's going to be the crucified boy all over again. I don't know if you guys know what the crucified boy is. It was this very famous Russian propaganda piece from years ago. Years and years ago. It was this, basically, it's exactly as it sounds. It was a lady claiming that Ukrainians are crucifying, they took the baby boy in his underwear and they crucified him. And then, of course, it was proven that nothing like this ever happened, and it became, you know, a meme, an example of the most brazen, just audacity-riddled Russian propaganda. But with something like this, yeah, that's just gonna be a field trip for these people. Okay, we also had an interesting situation unraveling regarding the certain Russian officials visiting Switzerland. Look at her, look at how... that's loud. Stop that. Sorry. Look at how they're greeting her. This is Chairman of Russian Federation Council, Valentina Matvienko. Person who is very close to Putin, by the way. She has been with him since his early days, back when he was getting started in Leningrad in the 90s. That's her. Look at how they're welcoming her in Geneva. How nice is that? We love to see that. That's on the topic of the sanctions getting reinforced and all of these officials getting punished, right? Of course. So yeah, she was greeted. Everyone was very happy to see her. She also managed to give a little speech. So she was there to participate in the Women Parliamentarians Summit. Girl power. Zig Ow. So, Women Parliamentarian Summit. She arrived there for some reason with 2 men because Sulsky and Tolstoy. Okay, I'm not entirely sure about what's going on there. I'm not willing to ask. They arrived, and of course they're all sanctioned, right? I think it goes without any commentary. These people under the sanctions, but you know, girl boss, gaslight, girl keep, girl boss. And she was also given an opportunity to deliver a little speech in which she talked about all of the horrible Ukrainians and the crimes of the Kiev regime. Isn't that incredible when these people get a platform to spread the propaganda? I love it, right? What could be better? So she talked about the crimes of Kiev regime. She talked about the crimes in Donbass. She asked the people, I guess the other attendees of the Women Parliamentarian Summit in Switzerland, to come to Donbass. And because of course. And also she parroted yet another propaganda line, a very famous one, that Russia was forced to intervene to stop this bloodshed. What an incredible way of stopping the bloodshed, huh? By causing more bloodshed. So the logic goes like this. If there's something happening that you already started in the first place, right? There's a horrible thing that's happening. If you arrive and you commit a thing that is extra horrible, that is like 1,000,000 times more horrible, then everyone's gonna forget about the first horrible thing that you committed, and you win. Yay! You're good now. You're a good guy. That's the logic of Valentina Matviena. It's just such a blatant, just spitting into everyone's face. This entire thing. Look at her. Same plastic surgeon as Laura Loomer, by the looks of it. No, we're not listening to you. It's enough. We've had enough with Trump. But yeah, look at her. She's all pretty. What is it? Chanel. She's looking like Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter. Beautiful eyebrows, very 2016 James Charles makeup tutorial. Yeah, and she is on fire. Valentina Matviena. Wow. I did not expect to see something like this in the big 2025. Just these people being celebrated. The forum of female empowerment. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Valentina Matviena. Her nickname is Vaля Polstakana, I believe. This is what they call her in St. Petersburg. Oh, shut up. It means Vaля half a glass, because she, just like Pete Hegseth and Dmitry Medvedev, the former Russian president, has a little bit of a drinking problem. Why do I keep opening you? Go away. Okay, while we're on the topic of the horrible women, let's discuss what Yulia Tymoshenko, our former prime minister, said, because she said a lot of things as well. But let me just catch up with the chat. No, but they look the same. It's the faces. It's her and it's Loomer and it's the wife of Jeff Bezos. I keep forgetting. Lauren Sanchez. Lauren Bezos, I guess now. Right, it's the same. Maybe it's chic, and I don't understand it because I'm a pleb without a taste. Yeah, there was a cyber attack on Aeroflot, and actually there was also a cyber attack on Gosuslugi, which is the main Russian government website for, I guess, all kinds of government-related services, where people get the certificates from and stuff. Okay, let's look at that first, because I even had an article from the Moscow Times, everybody. Which is very fitting. So yeah, there was this massive crash. There was a collapse. First it was the website of Aeroflot. Aeroflot, it's the biggest Russian aviation company. And something happened to their website, apparently. And it was in all the news. Everyone was discussing this. So, alright. The largest number of complaints came from Moscow and St. Petersburg, of course, but this is in relation to the Gosuslugi. And before that, with the collapse of Aeroflot website, they were saying that apparently the damage is so severe they might not be able to rebuild it. We'll see. We've already seen multiple attacks similar to this one in the past. Most of the times they were capable of rebuilding everything. We also saw some of the attacks on our website and our government, everything, pretty much the apps. We have this app in Ukraine called Dia, which is like an ID app in your smartphone. The government, how does he call it, Zelensky? Держава в смартфоні. The state in your smartphone, which sounds horrifying to me, but a lot of people were very happy about this idea anyway. And this app also constantly crashes because there are constant Russian attacks on it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. This is just one of those things for which, you have to wait. You have to wait for the result. Also, I'm not entirely sure, like, okay, yeah, I guess it's good, but also it's not like, wow, the most incredible thing that has ever happened. Aeroflot's website is down. It was hacked. Okay, cool. They had to cancel almost 100 flights, which caused another collapse at Sheremetyevo airport. Alright, Russians won't be able to get to Italy, I guess. Because, alright. And Greece, and where else? I don't know. Maybe I'm too cynical at this point, but it doesn't really make me happy anymore. Just, alright, sure. There was this video that went semi-viral from a couple days ago. There was yet another, I think it was our drones attacking something in Moscow suburbs. And the reaction was, everyone was like cheering, and there was this video of a lady being really mad because she was supposed to get to Venice from Russia, and now she cannot get to Venice. And I was like, ha ha ha. I don't know. All right, everybody. I guess I'm just getting too cynical. I know. What's wrong with me? I'd rather see like a drone factory burning, This makes me happy. Some random lady not being able to get to Venice, which she still will, because this means she got the visa, right? She got the visa to get to Venice. She will get to Venice. She'll just have to pay a little extra. It was a lot extra, actually. I think it was like $1,000 from each ticket. So, all right, let me just catch up with all of you. Okay, everyone's suspiciously quiet on YouTube. How was she allowed in Geneva anyway? If you were on YouTube, you probably have seen she arrived in her private jet with huge words Россия on it and the huge flag, and the local officials greeted her. So that means, I don't know, have we not talked about this? They are still flying into the European airspace. Have we not talked about this, you guys? They are. Their jets are flying in all the time, especially into Switzerland. Yeah, and in order to get to Switzerland, because of the geography, you also have to fly through, the other European countries, because of course you do. And this is what they do from time to time. Who was the previous one who flew in? I think Lavrov was also, but the majority of the instances are not in the official capacity. So this is why this is such, like, Valentina Matviena visiting Switzerland is such a major game changer regarding that. Hey, that rhymes, major game changer. It's because it's like an official thing, right? It's a, casual forum for girl power, and she's here. In private capacity, they're flying all the time. I think with some of the jet trackers pointing out like the jets of some oligarchs constantly like flying in and out, it's just that's why a lot of us are so cynical about the reinforcement of the sanctions, because it keeps happening. It's not as much as it used to be, and I guess some countries are stricter than the others, but also, what are you gonna do, right? If it's entering your airspace, are they supposed to shoot down Valentina Matviena's jet? These are the people who cannot even shoot down the Russian drones entering the NATO country's airspace. Everyone's like, oh! And imagine that. That would be like a casus belli. Oh no, Putin is gonna nuke us because his favorite childhood friend, Valentina Matviena, was blown up over Romania, So it's... Not Vaля polstakana. Oh no, how are we gonna live? What are we gonna do? Now, to Scotland, I think, although it's actually interesting because so many of them have properties in the UK, but it's usually in London. I don't know if they're able of just entering the UK airspace easily. I mean, Abramovich goes there all the time, from what I heard, right? This is the oligarch that a lot of people believe is one of Putin's wallets. But they're all each other's wallets. This is how they operate. All right. All right. An echo again. Oh no. Yeah, thank you, Carol. So apparently this is what some people are doing. They're leaving and returning, and then the echo starts. I'm not sure what happened today. It's all the same. I didn't change anything. Didn't change any settings. Do we also get echo on YouTube? YouTube people, hello. Could you please let me know if there is an echo on YouTube too? Is there something in the air, or is it just the TikTok thing? Anyway, so our former prime minister, Yulia Tymoshenko, which has been in the news. Remember last time we mentioned her in the context of basically leading our parliament and getting this massive round of applause for basically denouncing the anti-corruption institutions in Ukraine and saying that we don't need them. She went on, she decided to just carpe diem, seize the moment, and she also said that, and this is her quote, that the heads of the anti-corruption institutions in Ukraine should be chosen by the heroes of Ukraine, said Yulia Tymoshenko. Knowing Yulia Tymoshenko, she probably means herself. I can guarantee you that this is who she means. But yeah, she went on a tantrum. She's been waiting for this one, you guys. No one has been paying a lot of attention to her since a drama from, I think, like a couple years ago when she was very actively against the medical cannabis, which the conversation regarding medical cannabis had to do mainly with the number of veterans and disabled people we have in the country. And, that perhaps this could be used as, the way to make their pain slightly easier. Yulia Tymoshenko was not having it. She was so up in arms against the weed. You would think it's personal, and it probably was. It was probably because she just, couldn't get a cut of this business. So she was like, we're in it, Anyway, now she's back, and why is she back? That's because she hates the very concept of the anti-corruption institutions with the burning passion of a million suns. People like her exist in our political scene just to steal and lie. This is all they do, allegedly. This is all they do. This is everything they've been doing for God knows when. Thank you. And so it's absolutely not surprising hearing her attacking our anti-corruption institutions, because that's like Lex Luthor attacking Superman, pretty much. So yeah, she criticized the anti-corruption institutions in Ukraine for how inefficient they are. Well, I mean, I guess she has a point. The fact that she's not in prison indicates, the fact that they're not as efficient as they could have been. Okay, YouTube people are saying that all is good. Thank you, guys. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for the heads up. So yeah, she's very mad. She continues to go. She says there are no results. I'm not even gonna tell you about the results. You don't have to tell us. The fact that you are talking to us right now, thank you, is good enough of a result. If they were much better functioning, again, we wouldn't be listening to you at all. You would be in a jail. Okay. Anyway, and then she proceeded. This is why it's important for our anti-corruption institutions to be actually independent from everyone. And it's bad when they depend from either president, the parliament, the prosecutor, the general prosecutor, and it's just as bad when they depend on the foreign citizens whose purposes in Ukraine we do not know. So it might sound like a shade at some sort of mystical Russian influence or whatever. It's actually the shade at the Western partners, and it kind of echoes what Zelensky also said some time ago, because he has been notoriously distrustful of some of the media outlets and some of these organizations, and he even went on the record during one of his press conferences saying that we do not know the influence behind these plays, which is okay. And then Yulia Tymoshenko thought, as like, what do we do? How do we make it independent? How do we make sure that they're not subjugated to the people who have access to the money and finances and budget? And this is why we offer the law, she says, that can fix it, and that now, it has to be the heroes of Ukraine who are supposed to be in charge of appointing anti-corruption agency people, which is it's absolutely insane. It's even extra insane when you remember how easily these things are manipulated with. So if tomorrow someone wants to give Yulia Tymoshenko the title of the hero of Ukraine, Yulia Tymoshenko is gonna get the title of the hero of Ukraine. So but yeah, it was just the entire, and she just kept going. She kept talking on and on and on. It's like, but yeah, it was basically, what is behind this? It's a continuous attack and an attempt to discredit the independent appointment of the people into the anti-corruption institutions in Ukraine, which is something that they have been doing for months now collectively. The parliament, just everyone in our government has been trying to smear these people. It's been an ongoing smear campaign. And yeah, of course, Yulia Tymoshenko smelled blood and jumped on the bandwagon. So yeah, a lot of talks about foreign influence, a lot of buzzwords, how she hates corruption. That's the woman who built a castle in England with the money that she has stolen from Ukraine, by the way. She hates corruption. She hates corruption so much. Like Valentina Matvienko hates vodka and... oh my god. Alright. Anyway, that was just a little rant, everybody. I remember one day it was months ago, I had someone commenting, some very well-meaning Western gentleman, an elderly citizen from somewhere in the United States of America messaged me, and he said, you should be listening to certain people in your parliament, because most of them, they're not good, but there are some people who are they're actual politicians, they mean well, they're incredible, they have your country's cause so close to heart, like Yulia Tymoshenko, you should listen to her. And I was like, no. Gee, Brian, I don't know. I guess I won't. Something is telling me that I will not be listening to Yulia Tymoshenko. All right. Okay, thank you. Moving on. Oh boy. Ай-яй-яй, my friends. Ай-яй-яй, друзі мої. Thank you, Zoe. Yeah, I've had a lot of them. I've had them making all kinds of offers at first. And then they started giving their opinions. There were some who wanted to debate me. Like, no, I'm not debating you. Just... and it was especially funny when it was happening. Like, in March of 2022, we're sitting out here thinking, how are we gonna shoot the Belarusians rolling into the region if something happened. And then there's, I would like to debate. Hello from, I don't know, God knows where, in Idaho. I would like to talk to you about Ukraine. No, I'm sorry. Just no, this is not happening. Oof, okay. I had some other topics that I wanted to cover. And I, of course, forgot about half of them. As I do. Let me go back to my bookmarks. China isn't happy, by the way, because we sanctioned some of their people, some of their companies who were assisting Russia in its aggression, and they're not happy. Xi is very happy, is very, very angry. He's not having it. We have angered Winnie the Pooh, everybody. What do we do now? I know, she's very much a has-been, Tymoshenko, and she is a has-been in the worst way imaginable. I cannot even fathom how come she was ever a thing in the first place, but yeah, there was so many stages of grief we went through with this character. Ups and downs. She's still kind of popular here, by the way, in certain Western Ukrainian regions, because they remember how... So, I believe what happened was she took a bunch of money from the Kyoto Protocol that was supposed to be used for, like, environment and stuff, and then she gave it to the pensioners, to the elderly, so that they would vote for her. Something like that. And they still remember. The Western Ukraine remembers, just like the North remembers in Game of Thrones. Yeah, some of our neighbors have her posters in their houses because they think she's such an incredible leader. So for those people, she's not a has-been. But no, for the majority of people, I think everybody understands that this is it. That's enough. You do not need a second castle. Why shouldn't Abramovich be allowed to travel? He has 3 citizenships. Yeah, they tried to strip him of one of them because he, of course, got him... I think it was the Portuguese one, right? Something like that. And he has gotten it very, very questionably. But, of course, he has all kinds of neat little tricks up his sleeve. Yeah, okay, that was... If we did go with an eye for an eye, then perhaps, yeah, it would be fair to shoot down Valentina Matviena's jet. But it's still not gonna be even. You know, it's just Valentina Matviena. So, Vaля полстакана. There were so many memes with this woman back in the day. It takes me back. No, we have a lot of nice normal old men from America and from everywhere else being very good, very decent people. But you know, sometimes you get the characters. The marriage proposal air. Oh, Megan, do you remember? Yeah. I'm really glad we've moved on. I'm really glad we have left that behind. So that was weird. But yeah, that was it. That was very wise. I agree with that. Okay, the China thing we've talked about. Valentina Matviena. A lot of weird things are happening in Japan. They're currently talking about whether or not the current prime minister will hold up. And there are all of these concerns. So yeah, basically in the last couple of weeks, the far-right Japanese party has soared. Compared to where they were before, and so did the anti-foreign sentiment. It's been very, very disturbing to observe. I mean, it was a long time coming thing. We have seen some of the, minor, I guess, symptoms of this happening before, but it was more innocent. It was like the limitations on tourists and stuff like this. But yeah, recently it has escalated tremendously with a lot of the as it happens, right? As it happens, a lot of the emphasis is being put on the crimes committed by the foreigners specifically, which is interesting. I watch Japanese news almost daily, and every single day, what do you know? Most of the crimes are committed by the Japanese men, not surprisingly at all. But now there is this emphasis being put on the crimes committed specifically by the foreigners, and I've also my feed on social media was flooded with all of these videos of the crimes committed by the foreigners specifically, and the comment sections are insane. They say, we have to, Japan first, Nihon fasto, Japan first, we have to kick these people out, and also... of course, here comes the rise of this far-right party that sort of just appeared out of nowhere, and already, of course, it has some proven connections to the Russians. Who could have thought? And yeah, so now it's a massive question of whether or not Ishiba will survive, or if not, the possibility of this character over here becoming prime minister is pretty high, and that's not really good, because out of all of the LDP people, I think Ishiba is as good as it gets. Oh well, this is just a random thing about Japan situation, because I've been getting a lot of but also, to be fair, I'm deliberately keeping an eye out on Japan and everything that's happening in the Far East Asia too, because sure. Also, a side note, if you would like to maintain your language skills, if you already have some knowledge and you would like to maintain it, watching the news is actually a very good thing. It's pretty stressful because it's the news, but also it's because it's daily content, right? You can just tune in at any given moment and find out about something awful that happened in Kagoshima, for instance. So yeah, just a little side note. It's Trump again. No. That's the plane that Valentina Matvienko took to Switzerland. It's not even a private jet. It's a gigantic freaking thing. Good God. All right. What kind of crimes? I mean, who is committing what kind of crimes? So if you mean just the regular type of crimes that you see, it's usually... there's a lot of theft happening. It has increased pretty drastically, just from my experience observing the news. A lot of crimes of sexual nature, because thankfully Japanese women are now much more open about reporting it. They were always there was this huge taboo, still is, about reporting this type of stuff. Thankfully, by the looks of it, it's gradually collapsing. Because I remember back when I was teaching in Japan, not a single female client of mine, no matter the age. I didn't have a single woman who wouldn't have a story about sexual harassment on the train, sexual harassment at work, sexual harassment at the university, sexual harassment everywhere, absolutely. And it was usually the bosses, it was the randos on the train, you know, grabbing those women. Oh, it was awful. Some of them were just much more awful than the others, because I think the youngest girls that I were teaching were 12. And just all of this repulsive stuff happening. So yeah, the attacks as well. But the most recent one that everyone is talking about, the violent one, the one that everyone was talking about, I think it was in Kagoshima. Wait, was it in Kagoshima? I'm not entirely sure. Everyone is pointing out that it was the perpetrator looked like a foreigner, right? Because they cannot say openly who he was. Because of the way they cover things, and I think there's also a law. And yeah, so it's like it's someone who looked like a foreigner, which is wonderful way to put it. I know, right? This rhetoric is extremely familiar. It's just we've seen this one before so many times, right? We've seen this. Oh, hi Moo. Hello. Good to see you. We're discussing Japan for now, but hi Em. Thank you. Yeah, I think too much Trump. That's enough Trump. Do we want Rubio? I don't know. Maybe we do. Okay, let me just pause it for a second. Good to see you guys. There is the special hysteria among the far right in Japan regarding the Kurds. Because I believe in Kagoshima in particular, there is a big community of Kurdish people. And yeah, the rhetoric is currently being vastly against them, but there's also a lot of anti-Chinese and anti-Korean sentiment, as always, of course. Just a couple of days ago, there was a huge scandal about an author of books, right, a writer. She writes in Japanese, and she's Zainichi, so she is, I believe, fourth generation Korean. So she was born in her entire fourth generation. That means what? Fourth generation of her family lived in Japan. She's the fourth one to live in Japan. Japanese is her native language. But because she comes from the lineage of people who came from Korea, there's a bunch of freaks who are bullying her and calling her, you're not supposed to be writing in Japanese. You are not Japanese. There are so many layers to all of these things. There's so many problems like this, and of course they're all resurfacing. So, because whenever this rhetoric, this violent, this aggressive rhetoric, this hostile rhetoric starts occurring, it's not just one group of people that's gonna get targeted. It's gonna be way more groups of people eventually, I'm afraid. Oh well. All right, everybody, let's just... Oh, sorry, did I miss something? Yep, that's exactly... It's even worse. That party, the far-right party, the Sanseito, they're even worse than MAGA in many regards, especially in terms of the denial of the war crimes, because of course it's a whole package, right? It's a whole package. It's not just the anti-foreigners, it's also the denial of the past atrocities. So, oof. Thank you, April. Appreciate it. My Korean friend who grew up in Japan worked at Starbucks there and got harassed. Yep, that sounds about right. This is a massive issue, unfortunately. And it varies, right? Of course, like for me, when I was working there as a white woman, you were not facing the same level of scrutiny as, like for instance, some of my Filipino students were, because I had some Filipinos also taking my classes who were working, living in Japan, just two entirely different stories of treatment over there. So yeah, these issues, of course, they're present in any society, right? But you have to address them. That's the key point, right? That's how are you addressing those issues? Are you addressing them, or are you pretending and nothing is happening because tatemae is so important? Tatemae is this Japanese cultural concept. It basically means facade. right? Keeping up a facade. And this is, yeah, I think at some point it's just gonna, inevitably it's gonna explode. Justified came back, telling me to wake up. By this point in time, I think it's a good tradition. I didn't see the message, but based on your guys' responses, I can imagine that that it was him or her or they. I know we do not discriminate here. So, all right. So this is Rubio. You guys, I don't know. Do we need a trigger warning for Rubio? Hopefully not. But this is regarding the fact that. You're not going to believe it. Trump no longer believes the Kremlin is willing to negotiate. Oh, no. And Washington may change its approach, says U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He notes Trump is losing patience with Moscow's empty talks and is now leaning towards practical steps to force Russia to shift its position. What are the steps going to be, Maruko-san? What are the steps going to be?
Everybody should be very happy that.
And if you guys would like to see Rubio, you can come to YouTube.
Donald J. Trump is focused on peace. There's nothing he wants more than to be a part of peace agreements, stopping wars, preventing wars, ending wars. It's not his war. He didn't start this war. It didn't happen. It never would have happened had he been president, but it did. He inherits it, and he's done everything possible to bring it to an end. I think he's growing increasingly frustrated that despite having very good interactions with Vladimir Putin and phone calls, it
just
never
make
leads to
out
anything.
with him already.
So the time has come for some action here, and I think the president has made that abundantly clear. He's losing his patience. He's losing his willingness to continue to wait for the Russian side to do something here to bring an end to this war that wasn't his war, but he wants to see it come to an end. You know, since January of this year, over 100,000. Everybody should be very happy.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you. I'm really glad to whoever cut this clip. That was a bunch of nonsense. Thank you. Okay, but the trend, I guess we should be happy that the trend is changing, right? I guess we should be happy that at least they're now openly admitting that, this whole thing we pretended, that we role-played as, the peacemakers, whatever, it's not really working out, huh? What are we gonna do now? Because of course a lot of this, I think it's pretty easy to understand that it was a role play. There were never actually any honest attempts. No one really believed that they were going to be able to, I don't know, bring peace or whatever. Maybe 3 people from MAGA Twitter believed it, but no one with a brain did. So okay, now at least they're openly admitting to this. So I guess that's good. Is it good? Who knows? Who knows? That was just Rubio. Well, we mentioned him. All right, let's see. Oh, we're back to, okay. They sound like Reform UK. No. I know, very similar. All of these groups, they're like, it's like the same thing, but under different source, right? Source, why did I say it like this? Like I'm from New Jersey, but anyway. Scary how these far-right groups are popping. Exactly, like mushrooms after the rain. And also a lot of them are mysteriously connected to the Russians. But I think we have to be really careful in this. I don't think that Russians have created these groups. These groups are created using the very real issues and the very real anxieties and fears and prejudices and all of this insanity that is brewing in so many of the people's heads, especially after COVID, especially after everyone lost their minds after COVID. And it's just, when Russian propaganda uses them, they just amplify the already existing issues that go unaddressed. But yeah, they're very happy. They're very happy to jump on the bandwagon and start spreading the nonsense. And it's been happening a lot. They're very active. You already know they're very active in the UK media spaces and social media too, right? And in Japanese, especially on Japanese Twitter. Oh yes, they are. Oh, and they have been from the very beginning of the full-scale invasion, because Japan was very supportive of us. And no, they cannot have that. But yeah, I didn't realize that the Japanese had such a bad attitude towards foreign. Yeah. There is a problem. There is a pretty big problem, and it has been ongoing, and it's very complex. There are many undercurrents to why exactly we ended up in this particular situation and why it grew. But to me, the main reason for why, it's because the climate that was created, the cultural climate, unfortunately, is just perfect for this type of narratives to breed, because when you do not address those issues, they tend to grow. It's like mold, right? Yeah. Recently it's just been, at first it was, actually it started out kind of weird, I guess a lot of people were making fun of it. There was a lot of this anti-tourism rhetoric, which is very easy to simply mistaken for people being tired, right? Japan is super overcrowded with tourists and da-da-da. Then this rhetoric changed into non-Japanese are prohibited from entering certain establishments, right? So now you have all these posters in front of the restaurants, for instance, saying, do not enter if you're not Japanese. That existed before. When I lived there, it happened to me a couple times. Me and my friend, we tried to enter just like, a regular bar or restaurant, and the owners would very politely be like, no. And we're like, oh, okay. I guess bye then. But then, we didn't really think much of it. Of course, there is a lot of weirdos and a lot of hateful people everywhere, so maybe they were worried we didn't speak Japanese. We did, but okay, maybe not good enough. And that issue has multiplied after COVID, apparently, because I left Japan in 2019. A lot has transpired. Sorry, I keep going on Japan rants, everybody. It's just, give me an excuse and I will. Okay, let me see. Let me go over the other topics real quick. These mushrooms and nutrition. Well, that's a way to put a positive spin on this nonsense. Hi, Matt. Thank you. Thank you. Very kind. All right. Okay, we talked about Yulia Tymoshenko being insane, as always. Okay, we have an ongoing air raid alert in Donetsk and Kharkivska Oblast while we were at it, while I was ranting about Japan. We talked about the increasing drone manufacturing in Tatarstan, in Alabuga, with Russians planning on hiring 40,000 more workers to manufacture their drones. We briefly talked about the insane trade deal between the European Union and the US, and how it's most likely tied down to the military expenses at the end of the day. This is actually interesting because this is coming from Ukraine. So for the ever since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, so since 2022, we had all of these severe limitations on our media here. And one of the things that was limited is the coverage from our parliament, because before that there was constant non-stop coverage of all the parliamentary sessions, all of the insanity, all of these people beating each other up and yelling at each other and voting on things or not voting on things. And it was good because, for instance, it prohibited them from doing this thing when half of them do not attend the parliamentary session and then 3 people who do vote for them while they're somewhere in Dubai or God knows where. Then out of security concerns, the coverage stopped. So now a lot of our civil society organizations and media are demanding to restore those. More than 50 different organizations and media outlets are demanding for the parliament to resume the online translation of their parliamentary sessions. They demand this for transparency, they demand this for clarity, they demand this for, especially considering that very soon they will be looking at this new bill that is supposedly restoring the independency of the anti-corruption agencies, hopefully. So yeah, our civil society has woken up. This is the point that I'm making. It has been in this slumber caused by the aggression, caused by this dire need for unity within the country and self-censorship, which a lot of us have been implementing because the understanding of how great a threat is was just too dire. And so now everyone is figuring out that, okay, that's over. If we continue with the silence, these people will drag us to the bottom of the ocean, and they will, I don't know, just give us to the Russians, I guess. So we better keep an eye out for whatever it is that they're doing. So just an interesting update. I think it's just some of the regional specifics, everybody, but we love to see it. We'll love to see this. Also, this was interesting. We have imported natural gas from Azerbaijan for the first time. This is, of course, an attempt to stop relying on, you're never gonna guess who's the natural gas. And yeah, it was a small transfer apparently, but it works, so I guess that's good. They have signed a deal, and it's now gonna get to us through Bulgaria and Romania. All right, good. They're not saying, the quiet part out loud, where was the natural gas that we've been using up until recently coming from, but okay, hopefully not from where I'm thinking. This is our boxer, Alexander Usyk. You guys have heard about him. He recently won a massive fight, but he also has a lot of opinions. Usyk has a lot of opinions, and unfortunately, some people, especially I understand that he's a great sports guy and he's a great boxer, whatever. I would limit the amount of opinions people from Crimea, yeah, he's also from Crimea, get. And I'm allowed to say this because I'm also from Crimea. I think we're allowed to have, I don't know, like maybe 20 opinions per day. Recently, he has been on a roll. He has had so many opinions. He wins the fight, gets all of this media attention, immediately comes out and says that he wants to change the Ukrainian national anthem. Alexander, who do you think, Sasha? Who do you think you are? We understand you are a wonderful, wonderful guy, but come on now, chill out for a second. He doesn't like certain phrases. What do you know? I cannot with these people. Okay, that's just something that made me laugh. Okay, it's the EU cuts of the aid. I think we have talked about this. I'm just trying to do the lightning round, everybody, of the things that I don't really have much to say about. Thank you, Nick. But that I still wanted to have covered. If there's anything you would like to discuss, anything you would like to talk about, let me know. As always, I'm open to suggestions, as always. Okay, let's see. Wait, what was happening? I missed something. First I was talking about Japan, Hiva, then I was talking, now I'm talking about Ukraine again, because that's how I roll. Thank you. That's just how we roll here, everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. That happens. I've lost. Remember last time we kept losing the internet connection? Thankfully we fixed it over the weekend. At least, fingers crossed. I'm also a language tutor. So, yeah, that's another special force of mine, I guess. Supernatural ability. Hi, hello. What are your thoughts about TikTok being replaced in America? It feels like censorship to me. I don't know. It feels like government interfering with business. So, yeah, I don't think it's good. I don't think limiting anything is actually good ever, because it's just. Oops, sorry. Inevitably, people will start reading it as a censorship and an attempt to cover something up. And it also shows that you cannot offer an actual alternative, and this is not how the market functions, right? You are supposed, in the free market, business is supposed to compete with each other, and if there is an alternative arising, then this alternative takes over that other thing that is no longer working, and not the big guy from the government coming in and saying, you know what, bye. Now we're all gonna belong to the Zuck. We're all gonna go on the apps that belong to Zuck and Elon and all of these other wonderful, perfect, amazing, freedom-loving individuals. No. We've had this debate here a lot about the apps and, should they be limited at times of war and like a lot of this. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, at least for now, everybody realizes that this is not how you do things. If you just prohibit something, if you just close something down, people first and foremost will still find an alternative, and also you will lose a lot of trust inevitably, as a government official. Oh well. I think I missed something. I missed a discussion. Can never blame them. 0 litter in their cities. You mean in Japan? Have you been at Harajuku after 10 p.m. or Shibuya? And it wasn't all foreigners, you know? It wasn't all foreigners in those places. It was, yeah. But no, I know. You know me, I like Japan very much, but we should also not idealize it too much. It's still a real country with very real problems. Okay, we talked about the EU-US trade. We also had this is another topic. This is a developing story, everybody. So last time, I think we've talked about how the number of strikes within Russia on the Russian railways have been increasing. And yeah, there's been yet another instance of that with the drones hitting more railway infrastructure that is used for the logistics. Oh, he's not. He's using a bunch of slurs about Ukrainians. The guy in this video saying effing hohols, which is, yeah, it's like a slur which doesn't really carry a punch anymore even, but anyway, they hit the station. All right. Okay. And Russians as a, I don't know, as a what, it's just their day-to-day activity, I guess, hit a mall in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. We already talked how they destroyed the tea house, right, the tea storage, and they also hit a mall because, sure, why not? Just doing a little lightning round, everybody. It's said we don't usually get to hear what Usyk has to say over here. Ultimately, though, he gets paid to punch people in the face, not provide moral guidance. Right. He used to be super problematic. He used to be so controversial, of course, as I think a lot of people from Crimea would be in the public eye. He was super into Russian Orthodox Church, still is. And yeah, he had all of these pro-Russian takes in the past. Yeah, recently, I think something has changed. I think his house got bombed or something happened because he has some property in Kiev Oblast that was in the parts that were occupied by the Russians in 2022. So yeah, I think that sort of kind of changed his opinions a little bit on everything. But yeah, still, whenever he speaks, it's questionable at the very least, very often. That's just a classic man from Simferopol. Trust me on this one. All right, everybody. Okay, that we've already talked about. The Trump's deadline for Putin, the 10 to 12 day deadline. Ooh, scary. Okay. We've talked about that, and we've also talked about Valentina Matvienko visiting Switzerland, because of course she did. God, this is where we are right now collectively. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, I think we're going to be wrapping it up, so let me know if there are any questions that you would like to have answered. We're going to do 5 more minutes. The air raid alerts gradually growing. Already have drones going through Sumska Oblast in the east of Ukraine. Let's see if we're in for a loud night, if it's gonna be all of us or only some of us this time. You never know, unfortunately. Hi, Sammy. Hello. But I think we have discussed most of the things. I know. I'm just gonna have a little sip in the meantime. I've been slightly on fire today with all the rants, all of the impeccable humor and the commentary on everything and anything all of the time. It happens sometimes. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, right, we have the Sumska, Kharkivska and Donetska oblasts under the drone alert. Yeah, Wednesday's gonna be the next stream, everybody. We're going to be live on Wednesday. Unless something happens, I will let you know on my Instagram story as always. If you are on YouTube, hit the bell. Hit the bell. The bell is working. It's working for some people. Not for all people, but for the majority of the people. So if you hit the bell, hopefully you will get some sort of notification earlier than later. Thank you. Thank you for the lamp appreciation. And I hope you like the tofu too. He's with us. And the lemon. All the regulars. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna use these 10 to 12 days for. Honestly, it's hard to say. Will they actually come up with some idea for a ceasefire, or will they just continue doing nothing? And God knows, honestly. Considering that they're planning for this upcoming offensive in August that we have discussed at the very beginning, and they have just received a fresh batch of North Koreans to help them with that, I kind of don't really see the, oh my God, let's sign a peace deal situation in the foreseeable future. So, thank you for following. Yeah, it's a massive question, right? What exactly is the plan here? But hopefully what we're gonna see is we will finally see some additional measures against the Russians, perhaps the secondary sanctions on the companies that are working with them directly, the Indian, the Chinese companies, who knows? So stuff like this. I mean, I guess 10 days is better than 50. Am I right, folks? So... we'll see. But no, there is no... I don't see any sign coming from the Russian side that they're planning on slowing down or anything. They're continuing, like they're already in Pokrovsk, for instance. The battle, the fighting is on the streets of the city. We have just discussed the North Korean imports and, by the looks of it, it keeps growing, honestly. But hey, it's better than nothing, right? There might be something in 10 to 12 days. So let's hope for the best and prepare for the worst, as we always do. So, do you expect Indian troops to the front lines? I don't really... There's a lot of Indian mercenaries on the Russian side. But I don't really expect them in the same scenario as North Koreans. I think the North Korean scenario is the preparation for the Chinese scenario. I think they're testing the ground for what's I feel is gonna inevitably happen with so we've talked how the North Korean troops are being sent into the regions of Russia, and that allows for the Russian troops present in the regions to be taken away from there and to be sent to fight and die here in Ukraine. So I feel like this is a rehearsal for what's gonna happen with the Chinese troops. That in some time, after several months, I don't know when, maybe earlier, it's hard to say, the Chinese troops are going to enter several Russian regions and be like, okay, we're just going to guard everything up here and you guys go to the front lines. And they will send the Russians to the front lines, and the Chinese troops will be stationed, in some of the, say, far eastern Russian regions, because China also has a claim for Far East Russia, so this would make a lot of sense for them. Anyway, that's just at least how I read it. Sorry, it's a very pessimistic note to end the stream on. Hopefully it's not gonna happen, but we will have to find out in real time. Anyway, sorry, Debbie Downer over here. I know, that's how we roll. Okay, everybody, all right. To those of you who are still remaining here, do not forget to go on YouTube and subscribe on YouTube and hit that bell, because you will get a notification if you do that, most likely. We will be live next time on Wednesday, hopefully, but I will let you know on my Instagram story, as I do, because sometimes we get blackouts here. So if a blackout's gonna happen, then we will not be live. So keep an eye out for my updates and what are the little things that I'm posting. Oh, thank you. It's a raccoon. Thank you, Milton. All right, everybody. And thank you, Nick. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Thank you for watching. Love you all. Stay safe. Stay sane. And I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you. All right. TikTok keeps telling me things. I'm on stage 17 in my live journey. Whatever that means. I don't know what that means. Okay. Anyway, you guys, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Goodbye, Tim. Yay, thank you, Direwolf. Exactly that. I will see you all on Wednesday, just like the TikTok people. So Thank you, everybody. Let me see. Ah, wow, I was on fire today, wasn't I? It happens sometimes. Mwah. Bye-bye.